Hey everyone, this is Future David. The reason why my lips are not in sync with what I'm saying is because I realized after recording this video that I had my microphone on mute. Terrific, isn't it? So I'm going to narrate this video. At least I'll do my best to explain what I'm doing because I had no time or will to reshoot the video. So in the previous video, we forgot to do one little thing. I'm explaining that one during the first part of this video, show you how you can find those cartridges and also remind you to talk to the elf after you find a cartridge because they will give you hints. So this is the hint that I was supposed to pick up in the previous challenge, talking to the elf. Although the previous video was kind of easy and that challenge kind of was self-explanatory, didn't require much hints. Obviously, when you see a QR code, you would immediately try to decode it, but this is what the hint tells you here, to decode that QR code at the very end of the challenge. So pretty straightforward thing, but keep in mind that you do want to talk to those elves. Now, for this next challenge, however, we're going to need those hints that the elf provides us. And we need to move to a different location this time. So this challenge is going to be at the destination of Pixel Island. So this is the northern west part of that island, and it looks this nice pixely. Now every time you go to a location where there's a Game Boy cartridge, you are going to get all the objectives on your badge, so you don't really have to search a lot for these, but you can totally do that and make your life a little bit easier. So what you can do is you can record that traffic using Burp Suite or other intercept proxy. And when you go to WebSocket messages, you will see a message with the type set entities. So this is a message sent to the client from the server, and it will contain things like the NPCs, the terminals, and it will also tell you the location of various items. So you can see here there's an NPC character and an item, which is the Game Boy 2 cartridge. This one also has location information that you can compare with another message. I will show that one in a second. You can see that there's an item, and if you use your detector, of course, here I'm just messing around with the settings for the audio, then with the detector that we got in the previous challenge, you should also hear when it starts beeping, but there's the location information for this cartridge. Now, these are coordinates, and you can try to figure out these coordinates by looking at a different message. It's going to be near this set entities message. This is the and scene type, and there's going to be this grid, this map. I think I already showed you this in the orientation part, that you can just go and remove the new lines, replace them with actual new lines for these new line characters. This is fairly straightforward because it is just one straight line here, so you can figure out the coordinates on other maps. I will show that how to do it in the next challenge because it makes more sense there. Here is just one straight line. We are at the very beginning of that line, so it's just moving towards the end here. That's pretty much what we need to do. First, however, let's talk to the little elf, probably. And then we'll see how the detector will tell us that there's a cartridge, and we're just going to basically pick it up. But let's talk to the elf first. So we see the objectives here. We already have the second objective. And there we go. I finally decided to talk to the elf here. Okay, we're getting the hints. This is very important for this one. So Oh no, so actually this one is just telling us that it's very easy to find this because there's not many places to go. Like I said, you just move in a straight line here. So that's not the actual hints. First we need to find the cartridge. And here I'm demonstrating how the detector would beep. I think I made a mistake here. Yeah, I'm going there. And it's an ambient sound, which is kind of annoying in my opinion, because the ambient sound also... So hear the beep. But if you move towards the very end, you don't even need to have sound enabled and use the detector. You just move to the very end of the map and your character will automatically pick up the cartridge. Okay, after getting the cartridge, you can go and check the actual hint for this challenge. It gives you a lot of important things here for the hint. The most important is probably that this game has multiple versions. I mean, this specific volume. So volume 2 has different versions. And we need to look for those different versions. If you start the game, you should see that one. Here I made a mistake when making the video, and I was waiting for the ROM to show up, but it's already loaded, so I'm not sure what I was thinking here. Probably not much, because I also forgot to unmute my mic, right? So the problem here is that I forgot to disable all the filters in Burp. You can even see it hiding CSS image and general binary content, which is exactly the type of content that this game cartridge will be. It's going to be all binary. That GB file is a binary one. So I'm messing around until I finally decide to use the developer tools. That's always a safe bet, by the way. Currently, I'm even reloading it. This was not my brightest moment here. Okay, so David gives another try. There we go. This past David is not that stupid. Eventually he figured out that maybe the developer tool is a foolproof way. And we do see here the game0.gb file now. Now finally I realized that I need to click on show all to see it in the traffic. There we go. So we see here volume 2-random keyboard dance, and then eventually under /ROM there's game01gb. Can you see that? It's right over there. All right. So whenever there's game 0, that means there should be game 1 as well. So we're going to grab that one. I think this video will look hilarious as I'm narrating this through. Okay, so I moved to a VM here. We're going to use this one to do the binary diff. So I'm downloading game 0 here. And let's give it a try and see if there's a game 1. And there is. How about game 2? Okay, there's no game 2 apparently. So we're going to work with a game 0 and game 1. All right, so next order of business is to compare these, but first, why don't we just try to play the game? So I'm picking game 0 first, and I'm again probably need another cup of coffee at this point because I keep loading in and out the games because I can't distinguish up and down as a direction. So the second version of the game, I'm just skipping through the story here. We're still looking for Tom Liston. So there's a wizard and says, we really could use some magic now. As we try to pass, the wizard says, "You shall not pass." And then chuckles and says, "Always wanted to say that." And after that, our character is being, well, redirected. So we want to go to the north of the map and we keep being pushed back to the south. Okay, that's not cool. So let's try game 1 now. And I don't know what got into me, but I started doubting myself. And I thought that I accidentally loaded game 1 the last time as well. Again, I probably need another sip of coffee. Okay, so this time the game changed and it's kind of mirrored. Can you see it? So now we need to move towards the bottom. And past David is having the memory of a goldfish. So that's just me messing around. I'm sorry about that. Past David was a dum-dum. I think I eventually realized that this was actually the first version that we saw. Right? So moving on to the second version. You can even see that the person who did this is a good programmer. Starts numbering things from 0. Alright? But here the deal is different. Which is being redirected to the north instead of the south. Now, when I experimented with this game initially, I actually did a modification. I'm just disabling sound here because it has this annoying 8-bit music. 8-bit music is fun, but only as long as you don't have to listen to it for more than 2 minutes. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a tool called vbindiff. So this is going to allow us to visually observe the difference between these two ROM files. And you can just hit enter to jump to the points where the two files differ. So there's 1, 2. I can't remember if it was 3 jumps until we hit, yeah, there's the third one. So it's the fourth one then. So you can see here the string always wanted to say that. And that's the point where the wizard redirects us, and there's 1 byte difference. So game 1 has 0, 1 here, and game 0 has 0, 2. So the obvious question arises, what happens if I take 0, 2 and put it here in game 1's byte position where it's saying 0, 1. So I'm going to make a copy of game 1, and I think it doesn't matter what version you're modifying, as long as you make the appropriate changes. So I'm taking game 1 here. And then I use a tool called Bless, which is a little bit buggy. As you can see, there's the black panel there, and then it reveals the bytes as I'm resizing and use the tool. So just ignore this kind of weird bug. And the reason why I like Bless is you can do searches on hexadecimal values. So I'm searching for 0100FE, and above my little head, I'm modifying this 1 byte here. So I just punched 2 in the place of 01. I'm placing 02 for that byte, and I saved that binary. Now I already have this ROM moved from the VM to my host here, so I'm just loading in the modified binary. Here you see a warning by BGB saying that the checksum failed, but a real Game Boy wouldn't care. So this is just the emulator telling us that, by the way, the checksums are not okay, but you should be able to load this one into a real Game Boy. Okay. So we're going through again the conversation, which is at this point is kind of tedious and annoying. But look at what happens when we talk to the wizard now, or well, actually try to move. And when I first did the modifications on this game, instead of 02, I punched 03, and it had my character end up in the trees up in the north. So be careful how you modify it. And look at that, my little character now moves forward. So 01 is probably moving to the south here. Okay, what else do we have? We have here this weird portal now, and we can just enter into that portal. I think I'm just explaining the previous thing with the 01, 02s, and 03 values. So let's enter to the portal, and I need to disable sound here and the background music, because this challenge requires us to listen to the sound. So we have chat MPT here. and it says it likes to listen to these old radios. Let's listen to the radio. Gonna amp up the volume here a little bit. So you can hear that this is Morse code here. You can note down the Morse code signals and then use everyone's favorite tool to decode the Morse code. So I used CyberChef in this case. I already have this Morse code loaded into the input part, and then you can see that the output says glory, but with a 0 instead of O. So the weird like 5 dashes, those are a 0 number. Now initially I made a mistake here and I heard 3 dashes for the first character, but after decoding I saw that it's obviously not ol ori, but glory with a 0 again. I didn't recognize the 0 character. I'm kind of rusty with Morse code, so I didn't realize that that's one of the numbers, but numbers are really long in Morse code, so I actually should have realized that. Okay, now we can just take this one, because that's actually the flag, and then submit it under Game Cartridges Volume 2. So I'm submitting it, and that's the end for this challenge. The elf doesn't give us any additional information after completing this challenge. So that's it. We can just move on to the next challenge. I think this was a really fun one because this required some reverse engineering skills, but it was still fairly easy to read and understand. Now for the next challenge, I think it's probably easier to be solved with a debugger, but I still took a more reverse engineering approach because I'm not really comfortable with debuggers. So we're going to check that one in the next video. This challenge, by the way, was 3 out of 5 Christmas trees, which is a fairly realistic difficulty level for these. So you need to observe a bit the traffic. You need to check the difference in binary files and then modify a binary file. So this is a pretty complex challenge. I'm pretty sure it gave a hard time for a lot of folks. And the next one, instead of doing this statistical analysis, I think it was more intended to dynamic analysis.